Hi friends, and welcome to video number 2, or as my daughter-in-law Julie so kindly let me know, what I'm doing is called a vlog. Isn't that interesting? I was doing it, didn't even know what it was called. So a vlog, a video log. She also suggested I might want to venture into Facebook Live, especially if I want feedback. And Julie, those are all great ideas, and I just love people who support me and try to give me ideas on how to make it better and how it would function better, because I'm new to all of this media stuff. So anyway, welcome. I'm so glad you joined me again. I'm coming to you from my porch. This is my favorite room in the house. I absolutely love it out here. Nothing new about it. Furniture doesn't really match. The house has been in existence for a while. I can't remember when exactly it was built. But this is by far my favorite room. There's just something out here, something about it, and just about everyone who's visited has said the same thing. Even my dog seems happier out here. She just likes to lay with me and enjoy the quiet. Did that for about an hour and a half this morning, and it was just simply wonderful. So anyway, welcome to my porch, and I'm so glad that you're here. I didn't dress up for you today. I've got my little silver sneakers shirt on because this is one piece of who I am. I am privileged to teach silver sneakers at a local gym on Monday and Friday, and just love that group. They kind of make my world go around, and I really enjoy doing that. So they're just fun classes with some cardio and some strength training, but the amazing thing about all of that is how, and we're going to talk in a minute, we're going to revisit how we know what things to really push hard and pursue when they're not easy and when it's time to stop. But the way that the Lord takes everything in our lives and every opportunity and kind of weaves them together, if we'll let Him do that. I started, it's been several years ago, and I went back to school midlife is what I did when I was 40, and I went back to school to be a PTA, and I wasn't really sure. I just knew I wanted to care for patients. I was working as a secretary at the hospital, and I was watching the other PTAs and knew I wanted to care for patients on a more personal level. So I struck out and did probably, in my book, one of the bravest things ever, and I went back to school midlife. I was able to be a PTA, but the message to this whole story is how the Lord just uses one thing to hook to the other, to hook to the other, just like a beautiful puzzle to take our lives in a particular direction. So I was able to be a PTA, and I did that in the skilled nursing arena. That's another kind of interesting little story, in that when I went back to school, I fully expected to work in outpatient therapy, thinking that was my thing, and the one thing I said was, never will I do skilled nursing. Well, I am a firm believer that Jesus has a great sense of humor, and when we say, I will never, I think He says, oh, we'll see about that. If we're obedient, and then things just kind of come around to work miraculously. So I did a rotation in skilled nursing, and lo and behold, fell in love with it, fell in love with that demographic, mostly older folks. And it was a great experience for me, really was. I just grew so much as a person, and these people blessed me 100-fold times more than I even could bless them. But anyway, all that to say that then when the time came, and a few years had gone by, like 8 years, and I was a little bit, that job can make you tired emotionally and physically. It's a lot of work. I had the opportunity to go to work for our local gym here, DC Fit, and was able to get my silver sneaker certification because I already had my PTA license and a personal training certification as well. And working with these folks who are by and large 65 and over, and I'm not too awful far from that myself, but this has been just one led to the other, and God is so good, and He always knows. He always knows what's best. So that's just a little bit of my story. I think each time we get together, I'm probably just going to share a little more of my story, my testimony, because it kind of reads like a novel, I got to tell you. And there's some good and there's some bad, but hopefully of anything at all, it can just offer hope and know that Jesus can just make restoration out of anything, and even those bad choices that we sometimes make. Which leads me to the question that we talked about last time, and that's when to push and when to stop, when is the Lord saying no, and when is it just going to take a little more tenacity on our part. And I did get some good responses, and I thank you for that. I had Pat responded and Sharon responded with just some really good input. I did have my cousin Susan, hi Susan, that sent me a text message and said she was just going to kind of lurk for now and listen to the wisdom of some of the other people as they kind of chime in on this. So some really great answers, and I absolutely love that you responded. So Pat's response to the question was, pray to hear God's voice. He answers if we just listen, which takes time to learn, and it does. The listening piece definitely takes time to learn. It's just, especially if it's a decision that needs to be made, what we think pretty quickly, and it is hard to just kind of be still and know. So that is great, Pat, and I thank you for that input. Sharon also responded, and she said, going to God's Word, praying, asking others to pray, and seeking wise counsel. That is just great stuff from start to finish. So all of those things should be incorporated when we're thinking about making a change, or we're making a decision, or deciding whether to press on or just back off. And Sharon also made another just excellent comment. This was kind of her conclusion. She said, as long as I'm serving and using my gifts, I'm being obedient, making the most of every opportunity. And she has referenced Colossians 4:5 and Ephesians 5:16. So I can let you all look that up at your leisure and see what those say about making the most out of every opportunity. But I believe she is absolutely right. And as long as we are using your gifts and your talents to serve, and again, being obedient, I think that is awesome. We can, the nice thing to know also is, as I mentioned before, we can go the wrong way and we can make the wrong choice, and He can still make it right. And I just think that's beautiful. He's done that in my life over and over and over again. And I'm also convinced that if there's a place that you should go and you are really listening and being obedient, you can't mess it up enough. I mean, he's going to, His will be done. If that is your prayer, thy will be done, it definitely will. So it's nothing to be afraid of. Fear, when anything is born of fear, it's not good stuff. And just fear causes all kinds of behaviors and all kinds of choices and decisions that just aren't solid and just really aren't good. So we want to be sure that we're not operating out of fear. Someone told me not too long ago, they said, if in doubt, don't. So just don't. It's always okay to wait and think and pray. You're not going to miss out on an opportunity that can't be recovered if that's the way the Lord really wants you to go. So I think the answer to that is just, again, to wait, to pray, to be obedient. And if you are, He's made this very clear to me, especially lately, if you are using your passion for His purpose. So if it's something that you are exceptionally passionate about and you just can't lose that feeling, and I've had that, and especially again here recently, and you may have not, and that's okay too, because as of 10 years ago, I did not really have that feeling like this is just, well, maybe when I went to school to be a PTA, but I wasn't really sure why that was. Anyway, using your passion for His purpose. So even if obstacles come against you or come in your way, that it's going to be like this irresistible draw, and you're going to know that you're on the right course. You're just on the right path. Now, there's a difference between pursuing and manipulating circumstances to work out the way you want it. So definitely a break there between listening and obedience, and putting your own wants and desires at the forefront. I'm not talking about, again, this thing that you're passionate about that you want to use for the Lord, but just the things that, if you're operating out of fear, or the things that you just want to push through because it's sort of a selfish desire, and you can have the tendency to manipulate things, and not in a good way. Maybe, making some immoral choices, or, just some bad decisions. And believe me, friends, it's easy to get from here to there. It doesn't take much. When there's something that we really want, instead of waiting and instead of praying to try to manipulate circumstances, I've done that more than once, and it just never turns out well. So, in conclusion, wait, pray, be obedient, and just put it all at the feet of Jesus, and he's going to take care of you as long as you are listening and being obedient. But if you're trying to kind of manipulate it yourself, that's not going to go well. Next video, we're going to talk about that a little bit. I am privileged to be studying 1st and 2nd Kings. I know, funny to hear me say privileged. But I am to be studying 1st and 2nd Kings with Proverbs 31 Ministries. I love their first 5 ministry. That's how I do my Bible studies. And I was shocked to realize that there's nothing to be afraid of in the Old Testament. So don't shy away from it. These are great examples of how to live, how not to live, just how to do things, how not to do things. And these are some people who are pretty close to and pretty important to God. And of course, this is all pre-Jesus. Everything points to Jesus, however, and you'll see that if you read. So if you get a minute and you want to read 1 Kings like 11 or 12 through 14, just to get a little basis, this is what we're going to talk about next time, how some folks tried to manipulate things and that kind of went that immoral route where God had given them so many gifts, kingdoms even, tribes of Israel, and they sold out. He told them how it was going to be, and they completely sold out because they were afraid and wanted to manipulate things around because they thought they know better. So that is one mistake that we can make, and we want to prevent that, and I think we can do that by looking at the lives of these people and how things did work out or didn't work out. And we will talk about that next time. So thank you again for joining me for vlog number 2, and there will be a number 3. I'm sorry there was such a span of time. It's just busyness, and honestly the blog is still kind of forming, and I'm trying to decide what I want that to look like, or maybe I would love to put a bunch of different pieces together. I've just started the In the Light of Day, an encouraging word, which will just be a little snippet that I will post every now and then, or a short story, something very positive and encouraging that might help your heart or lighten the load, a little shorter than my longer devotionals. I think all these things are going to come together to play. So I hope you still or you will continue to follow me. I want to hear from you. So if you have any examples from your life about obedience, manipulation, lack of obedience, whatever, I would love to write it. I will read it in your comments, and my heart will just sing. I will be so happy. Again, thank you for joining me, and be blessed. I hope you have, whenever you're tuning in, I hope you have a great rest of the weekend or rest of the week. Take care, and I'll see you next time.